Hi everyone, my name is Mrs. Heidelman and I'm a junior at the University of Toledo where I'm studying AYA English Education. From a young age, I always had a passion for reading and writing and found it as an escape for myself. And it was sort of that passion that never made me think of teaching as a career, but my dream. A little bit about me is that I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I'm the middle child, so I have an older sister and a younger brother. I have two dogs, Lucky and Ralph, who are the literal light of my life. In my free time, I love to be outdoors, adventuring and traveling, whether it's riding a bike, scuba diving, or just being on the water in general. So, you might be wondering what influence my family's had on my beliefs and values as a teacher. Growing up, my parents really pushed values and support, so I developed a passion for little things like being read to, reading to people, and reading to myself while having that support at home to be successful in school. This sort of paved the way for the passion I have in the classroom today because I want every student to have the experience in the classroom that I was provided at home. The most important one to me would be that everyone deserves a fair shot in the classroom because not everyone is provided that equal opportunity at home or comes from equal places. Education is free, and with that should come fairness, support, understanding, and compassion from teachers because as teachers we should believe in the students when they don't believe in themselves. As an educator, I believe students should be allowed as many attempts to correct assignments as they would like. If a student wants to resubmit a paper 10 times because they keep making corrections to perfect it, I'll never say no to that because they continue to put in the effort. I also believe group work in the classroom is crucial because it allows students to confide in each other while being able to discuss their ideas and have that support from the students that they get from myself. Also, I believe that there are no stupid questions in the classroom. I also believe that everyone learns differently, so it's important for me to provide resources for all types of learners, whether they prefer hard copies, digital, extra resources, or whatever it takes to set them up for success in the classroom. Some observations from the classroom is that students like technology and prefer online and digital opposed to traditional reading and writing on paper. However, with this comes the temptation to use technology for other reasons while in the classroom, like texting. So how do we find this balance of interactive technology while keeping kids focused? I think that as long as students are interested, they'll interact and participate in the classroom. However, I've also found that if students are given a designated amount of time to be on their phone for personal reasons, for example, 5 minutes at the end of class, they're more likely to stay off their phone during class time. Some problems I've observed are that students don't care and lack interest in the content of an ELA classroom. And sometimes the teachers do not care that their students don't care, which causes them to not alter their classroom experience for the students. Another problem is that while technology is so great, it's oftentimes bad because students tend to depend on it too much for knowledge instead of applying their own. We can change these flaws by dedicating ourselves to always doing what benefits the students, by staying motivated and excited about learning so that the students see that and also feel that way. If students don't see motivation in the classroom, how can we expect them to stay motivated themselves? Some teaching and scholarly interests I have are learning what each student's needs are and being able to meet those needs. Scaffolding, developing as a teacher, researching new ideas and ways to think about/interpret meaning, why kids learn the way they do, and associate student experience with meaning. Also, dedicating my teaching to learning as well. Just like the students, I'll continue to observe myself and make changes based on these interests that I have. I want students to know that while I'm here to educate them, they also educate me because we are all lifelong learners. Research provides me with background information to better help me understand those interests and apply them to the classroom. Research also sparks interest, which allows me to ask essential questions about my students' learning. For example, how can students get the most beneficial experience of learning in my classroom? Furthermore, this research will provide me an understanding of why my students learn the way they do, which in turn will get me knowledge on how to improve in the classroom so they have everything they need to be successful. All of this will allow me to demonstrate an understanding that allows me to adapt to my students' needs. I can address this in my daily work by always being willing to compromise and alter my lessons as well as delivery to provide my students with what they need at that time. This could mean straying from a lesson plan, not moving on to new objectives, or spending more time on certain material to help students better understand. I can also apply this by not only focusing on meeting standards, but putting my students' needs above that. I will also apply this by experimenting with different techniques and delivery like handouts, PowerPoints, and videos to see what my students learn from best. Lastly, I can demonstrate these every day by taking a step back and observing my students' wants and needs and doing everything I can to fulfill those, to not only ensure myself they are learning, but let them see that they are as well. Some personal goals I have for myself is to apply many of the methods and strategies I have learned over the course of this semester. An example of one would be incorporating lit circles when reading a novel. This will provide students with an interactive, deeper understanding of the novel while participating in group work. This will allow me to assess how well did students apply their knowledge and understanding of the book based on the work they contribute to their group. Next, I want to focus on helping students understand the importance of listening to their peers when they're in groups. Everyone always has a different perspective, and as important as it is to share your understanding, it's just as important to really hear and understand other people's understandings. Furthermore, I want to work on assessing myself when I'm assessing my students. If we're concluding a novel and I have writing prompts that ask students to incorporate examples from the novel to support an underlying theme, or using quotes from the text to demonstrate an understanding of an analogy that is present in the novel, I want to know if students are unable to answer the questions, and if they are unable to answer what I'm asking, that'll let me know that I need to take a step back and review more as a class. Lastly, how can I best balance teaching, learning, application, questions, answers, technology, listening, and demonstration to create the best possible classroom setting and atmosphere for my students in order to help them be as successful as possible? This is something I'll practice every single day as I learn techniques that work for me, techniques that work for my students, and being able to provide them with the best possibility to thrive in the classroom.